Hey guys, this is Quinn, that snazzy iPhone guy, and this is a retro blast to the past unboxing from the year 2003. Now, this is the iPod 40 gigabyte third generation. Now, this came out April 28th, my birthday, 2003, a long time ago. That would be almost 7 years ago now, or 7 years ago. It was released for Macintosh 10.1 and Windows 2000. XP had not yet come out. It was claimed to tout 8 hours of battery life, of continuous playback. It was only able to be synced through FireWire, and you could charge it, you can charge it only through FireWire. You could sync it via USB, but it just came with a FireWire cable. This was the second model to be released with PC compatibility. So there's the first generation, which was Mac only, second gen, which was basically the first generation with a bigger hard drive, and it was released for Mac or for Windows as well. And then this was the third generation, which I think was the most innovative design, and this is the most unique iPod there is, in my opinion. So I was shuffling through my old stuff and found this box, knew where my iPod was, threw it all back together as best as I could. I am missing some pieces, but hopefully we can get to you the idea of what this is all about. When it was released, it came in 5 capacities, 10, 15, 20, 30, and 40 gigabytes. This is the 40 gigabyte model, which retailed for $500 US. So it was not a cheap toy. Now, as you open the little goodie package, you have the install CD for iTunes 4.1. You have the iPod's user guide. Yes, this was actually when they provided you with user manuals. There are 59 pages of fun in here. There's the iPod quick reference guide, which has pretty much become the only thing they give you. And there was the software license, SLAU, software license agreement, and then there's the Apple 1-year limited warranty, along with this interesting thing. Building your ultimate playlist, get the missing ingredients with the iTunes Store. Now, I believe this was the first iPod to, I believe they introduced this iPod with the iTunes Store, because the iTunes Store wasn't out for the first 2 generations, I think. So, very cool. That's your little goodie package. In here, what there would have been, and I'm missing some stuff, is this. It's still in its package, sealed, never been opened, and I'm honestly not sure what it is. There's FireWire 400 on this side, and then another FireWire, mini FireWire, I don't know. This is probably for PC compatibility, not sure, but I didn't have this problem on Mac, apparently. There's this beautiful little mesh carrying pouch, nothing much, just poorly sewn, but you know, it was cool that they gave it to you. They gave you a hard shell case, which was really, nice. It was like a little clip, and you would hook it on, which was a really, really sweet addition. There were these great things, the earbud foam covers, and then the earbuds were in here, which have been removed. And then one last thing it came with, which I've forgotten since I researched it. Dang, what else did it come with? Oh yes, it came with a headphone controller. So with it plugged in to the top of the iPod, you could control stop, play, pause, much like the headphones that are included today. Now, it wasn't integrated into the headphones. It was like an extension cord, and then you plug your headphones into the extension cord and you'd be able to do it. But same basic idea. Now, here's this side, and there's the iPod, which is very, very beat up, so I apologize. But before we get to that, you get this little goodie package, which comes with your FireWire USB brick. Now, this thing is huge. Very, very heavy, very large. And the one that comes with your iPhone now is just a tad bit bigger than this piece. So for proportion-wise, this is a gigantic little charger. And as you can see, it's FireWire, and they give you the 30-pin connector, and this was, I'm quite positive of it, correct me if I'm wrong, the very first iPod to have the 30-pin dock connection. Now, this was one of the retro cables as well, where you could squeeze the sides to release it. They had this till like maybe the original iPhone, I think, till 2007. Then they ditched this idea. Could have been earlier, but I don't remember it being any earlier. And then this was FireWire, of course. So you could sync this way and charge this way. Sweet. So that's all that came in here, and we will look and talk about the iPod. Hopefully there's enough power to go around. However, I am going to plug it in just to make sure, because I don't know how long the battery's been dead, when the last time I used it was, and all that good stuff. So, one last thing before we get to the iPod. These were also purchased. This was the Griffin iTrip. I believe, was that Griffin or Belkin? Griffin, yep. Now this plugged into the very top of the iPod. Right there. And that little serial bus, as you can see right there. And then this could transmit to any radio. They still have these, except they are vastly improved. I remember this was horrid. This was really bad at doing its job. And it could only do like 2 or 3 channels, if that. I don't remember exactly. Through any FM radio or car stereo powered by the iPod. Uses any FM frequency. Oh, that's right. This was the most interesting thing ever. Now, what they had is they included an install CD. I don't know if it's still there. But what they did is this install CD had a bunch of tracks or songs. And it was like Morse code almost. It was like a little burst. It would be like beep, 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 or something like that. And you would go in a playlist to the channel you wanted and you push it. So you wanted 88.7, you go to it, push play on your iPod, and it goes beep, 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 beep. And then it told the iTrip that's what channel we want to broadcast to. I remember that. That was really, really weird way to do it. There were no knobs, were no switches on it. They obviously ditched that idea because it got really annoying to just be listening to shuffle, and that got in your way. See, there you go. You navigate to the iTrip stations playlist installed on your iPod. You highlight the chosen frequency and you press play. When the blue LED begins to rapidly blink on the iTrip, then it will confirm that the iTrip has changed its frequency successfully. Wow, that's really neat. Okay, and then the last thing was the Apple Care protection plan. I actually haven't opened this, so I don't know what's in here. But they don't give you this big old box anymore for Apple Care. Oh, there's a receipt. Sweet. It was purchased at CompUSA, which I think is out of business now. It was purchased on January 1st, 2004. So this was purchased almost a full year after its release, which I'm actually pretty surprised. On New Year's, yeah. That was a long time ago. So here we go. Apple iPod 40 gigabyte, $499.97. Wow! Apple Care for 2 years was $59.99. Tax $36.96. Total balance was $596.92 for a 40 gigabyte iPod. That would cause quite the outrage nowadays. So this kind of technology was expensive back then. So we are going to take this and plug this in while we go around it's already got some power to it. Sweet. Okay, so from the back, you have the classic, very, very scratchable chrome. On the side, you have, it's actually not that, I mean, it's huge. It's fat, let's be honest. But it's not really, it's not really monstrous like the first generation was. This is, for example, this is the iPhone 3G. So, it is big by a lot. The iPhone 3G comes out to about here, to about there on the iPod. So it's fat, but hey, pretty cool for being 7 years old. We've advanced technology a ton in 7 years. You would have shown this to someone 7 years ago, people would have gone wild. There is the 30-pin connection down here on the bottom. Just plug that in. And then on the top here, you have your hold switch on the right-hand side and the headphone jack dead center, which I think is a good idea, by the way. Nice design. And then there's the serial kind of headphone jack here. As you can see, it says 40 gigabytes, clearly $500. That's quite expensive. And then there's the lot. So now this is an interesting iPod because this was the only iPod not to have a kind of a click wheel-like version. Now the first and second generations were kind of like this, except for these 4 buttons were around the wheel. So it was just the wheel. And then the iPod Photo, or color iPod Color or iPod Photo. I don't remember. But it was the first iPod to have a color screen, the 4th generation. That was the first one to have the click wheel as well. And ever since then, what is that? 5 years later, they're still using the same darn click wheel because it's the best. It's awesome. But none of these are buttons. These are all touch sensitive. It's capacitive, I would presume, because it feels like my iPhone. It's not like a... Anywho, yeah, very cool. Not a single button on this device. There's one switch, and there's no other moving parts on the exterior of the device. Now, inside, you're packing a 40 gigabyte hard drive, a pretty large battery, and stuff like that. But this was also the first iPod to have backlight. Now, other iPods didn't have this. It still does have the tiny black and white display, but it does have these 4 buttons in the background, which is pretty cool. And so same interface though, just in black and white. Music, you go to there's playlist, artists, albums, songs, genres, composers, and audiobooks. Wow, they even did audiobooks back then. So artists, and oh, that's albums. Sorry about that. Artists, and you can see all these artists on here. So you could go to YouTube, Vertigo. There you go. You can hear the hard drive spinning up, and it is pretty loud. I've got the washing machine or the dryer going in the background, so you probably can't hear it, but I can hear it. You can pause, play, advanced track, previous track. You can click it and select where in the song you want to go, like normal. You can click it again for your star rating. Ah, yeah, that's how we like it. We push menu again to go back. And so it's very much like a regular iPod. I really like how there are no buttons. It's a wicked sweet design in my opinion. Looks excellent. Wow, this has some newer music on here. Panic at the Disco. Lenny Kravitz, he's old, but Jack's Mannequin, they're new. So we must have used this recently. I mean, my dad bought this. This was his, but he ditched it a long time ago for an iPod Video? An iPod Video, the 5th generation one, which came out in 2006, I want to say. Maybe 2005, I don't remember. But, you know, that's pretty much it. Very, very basic, simple interface. You still hold play to turn it off, I think. Yep. We can go to settings real quick to see the About menu. So Dana Nelson, that's my dad's iPod. Songs 1,141. Capacity 37.2 gigabytes. Available 29.0 gigabytes. Version 2.3, serial number and the model. You can go ahead, steal those, I don't really mind. Main menu, shuffle, repeat, blacklight timer, EQ, sound check. Wow, they had sound check. That's cool. I thought that was a new feature. That makes all your tracks the same volume so that if one's louder than the other, it doesn't blow your ears out when you're listening. Contrast. Aw, yeah. They got rid of that a while ago. Clicker on. I do like the clicker. Clicker's annoying now, but you could control to play it through the headphones, I think. No, just on or off. Oh, well. I like it on. Date and time. What does it think the time zone is? U.S. Pacific. It thinks it's January 1st, 2000. A little bit off. Contacts, language, legal, and reset all settings. So very neat, though. It's a really cool, very innovative feature and invention of its time. It looks hot, and I mean, I love the touch capacity. I wish they would go back to that, in all honesty, because I think it's sweet. But there you go. The iPod 3rd generation, 40 gigabyte. This was the unboxing. It ran $500 back when it was released, April 28th, 2003. First one with a black backlight, music at your fingertips. There's the ad for Mac and Windows. And it came with a dock. Oh, okay, all right. So it came with FireWire for Macs. And then for USB, it came with USB 1.1, I'm presuming. FireWire is way faster, by the way. FireWire 400 versus USB 2.1. USB 2.0 is faster than FireWire 400, but not by a heck of a lot. FireWire was fast in its day. But USB 2.0. Hello. Wow. So that is USB 2.0 too. So this isn't that old. I mean, USB 2.0 isn't that ancient. It's old, but I didn't know it was that old, so that's cool. So apparently they gave you the dock. Actually, I remember this. We had this, and we didn't buy it extra. They gave you everything back in the day. Now they give you your iPod, cable, and the fingertips, and that's it. I mean, they give you everything back then. Headphone controllers, and it was sweet stuff. But you did pay the money for it. Convenient base cradles iPod for charging and syncing. So that was probably the biggest complaint with Windows users, is a lot of them, if not most of them, didn't have FireWire buses and all that other stuff, because Windows is just a bag of hurt. So FireWire is on its way out. It's going to be dead in a few years because USB 3.0 is just going to take over, and that's what everyone's switching to, including Apple. They're dropping FireWire ports off their MacBooks like crazy, and people are getting pissed because there's a ton of external drives that use FireWire. But, you know, that was way longer than it needed to be, and I apologize. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. Let me know what you think. Do you have this iPod? Do you have older ones? What do you think about them? What's your oldest iPod, and what was your first iPod? Leave it in the comments. Thanks. This is Quinn, that snazzy iPhone guy, and as always, stay snazzy.